Hi, I'm Colleen Curran, Lifestyles Editor for the Richmond Times Dispatch. This month, we're celebrating the Richmond Times Dispatch's 175th anniversary. We wanted to take a look at how Richmond dining has changed over the years. When the first issues of the Richmond Dispatch were printed in 1850, there were more saloons in the city than churches. Oysters were also popular on the menu, just as they are today. The Rough and Ready Oyster Saloon at the corner of 9th and Main Streets advertised the freshest oysters around in 1861. Tea rooms were big in Richmond in the early 1900s. There was the Chesterfield Tea Room on Franklin Street, where waiters in tails served lunch and dinner. But by 1916, all of Richmond's saloons were forced to close when Virginia enacted statewide prohibition. In the 1920s, a few familiar names in Richmond dining began to appear in this newspaper's pages, like Sally Bell's Kitchen, that got its start as Sara Lee's Kitchen on East Gray Street. The first Bill's Barbecue opened on the boulevard in 1931, serving vinegar-based pork barbecue sandwiches and freshly squeezed limeade. And Joe's Inn opened originally at the corner of Idlewood and Shepherd Street in 1939 before moving to its current home on Shields Avenue. In the 1940s, dairy bars and lunch counters were popular in Richmond. The Dairy Bar originally opened as the Curl's Neck Dairy Bar on Roseneath Road in 1946, and there was the Clover Room selling ice cream and sundaes on Broad Street. The Richmond Room opened on the 4th floor of Tallheimer's in the 1950s. In 1963, a group of Virginia Union University students organized a sit-in at the whites-only section of its lunch counter to protest racial segregation. The students were arrested, but that same year, the store quietly desegregated its lunch counter. The 1950s and 1960s began to usher in Richmond favorites such as The Village, Pearlie's, the Robin Inn, and O'Toole's. The 1970s brought more Richmond stalwarts, starting with La Petite France in the 1970s from chef Paul Elbling and his wife Marie Antoinette. La Petite France introduced Richmond to classic French cuisine and put Richmond on the culinary map. Other Richmond favorites followed, including Bogart's, La Siesta, Sam Miller's, The Tobacco Company, Bamboo Cafe, and Strawberry Street Cafe. The 1980s brought us the first iteration of Stella's. La Mer debuted at the Jefferson Hotel in 1986, and Millie's Diner opened in Church Hill in 1989. The 1990s brought many of the names you still see today in Richmond dining, such as Full Key, La Grata, The Hard Shell, and Acacia, plus some you don't, like The Frog and the Redneck from star chef Jimmy Sneed, Mama Zoo in Oregon Hill, and Ipanema Cafe in the Fan. In the 2010s, Richmond gained national recognition for its restaurants with write-ups in places like the Washington Post, Esquire, and others. Then came the James Beard Foundation nominations for La Possum, the Roosevelt, Leisure, Peter Chang, Metzger Bar and Butchery, Sub Rosa, and many more. 175 years later, one thing is for certain, Richmond is a foodie town.